In this video, we're going to be talking about everything Apple boxes, what they are, what they're used for, and stay to the very end because we'll tell you the 3 positions of an Apple box and what they're called. Thank you for watching this video. Before we do anything, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. It really does a lot, helps us make more content like this and keep the channel running. Okay, so what are Apple boxes? In the most easy, specific, obvious term, they're a box. The wooden box that you're going to find on movie sets. They're used for different reasons. The primary thing that they're going to be used for is height, and it's going to be making things taller. On all movie sets, you're going to have 2 items, and they're the 2 most basic tools you'll find on a film set, and it's Apple boxes and sandbags. The way I like to think about them is this. A sandbag makes things heavier, and an Apple box makes things taller. It's kind of simplistic to think about it that way, but that's just kind of how I look at it. It's a really easy way to remember what they do. Who makes Apple boxes? They're produced by a couple different manufacturers, but the most common ones you're going to see on set are going to be made by Matthews. They're going to be made by Kupo, and they're going to be made by Modern Studio Equipment. There's a couple other brands that make some out there, but those 3 are the ones you're going to commonly come across the most. We here at Wild 7, we use Matthews Apple boxes like you see here. That's just our preferred choice. As far as buying Apple boxes, they're available online. You can buy them at your film stores like Film Tools, B&H, Adorama. You may want to pick some up sooner than later. As of the making of this video, Apple boxes run about $140, $150 for a family, which is a set of 4. With the current political scene and things going on in the world, who knows how much they might cost next month or in the next few weeks. The price of Apple boxes might shoot up with tariffs and raising lumber costs and all that madness that's going on in the world, but we'll see how it goes. You may want to get yours now sooner than later. Just a tip from us. All right, so one of the most common uses of Apple boxes is adjusting height of something. You make something a little taller in frame, you need to make it look better in frame. Sometimes you might have 2 actors who are speaking to each other in frame, and one might be like 5 foot tall and the other 6'6". And it just looks goofy. You have like someone at the bottom of a frame and then someone way at the top of the frame, and they're speaking to each other, and it just doesn't work. You put the short person on an Apple box, and now it's a little more balanced out. Here's an example of that. I'm going to show you right here. We have April and Nas set up as if they're talking to each other in like a little over-the-shoulder scene. Nas is taller than April, so to keep the camera level, April just lands lower in the frame. She's just kind of right here in the middle of the frame, and it's a little bit of a weird spot to have someone's eyes land. You kind of want them up more, a little higher to that upper third in the frame. So we're going to have April stand on an Apple box here and look at how to adjust for height. This one's probably a little too tall. We probably actually want to use a smaller Apple box and not get her so high in the frame, but you get the picture of the adjustments. Here's another example of the time where we're using an Apple box to adjust height. In my short film, Santa Evolution of a Monster, we have these elf characters who, in my story, I saw them about like 4 foot tall, 5 foot tall, somewhere in that range. Obviously a lot smaller than Santa. Our actor who's playing Santa here, Taylor, he's about 5'10", and our actor Trent, who's playing Nutbag, he's about 5'10" as well. So to give Santa that big imposing feeling, we had him standing on a couple of Apple boxes here in this shot, and you can see how it makes him seem a lot taller and a lot bigger than Trent here in the foreground. Mentioned a family of Apple boxes a couple times in this video so far. So what is a family of Apple boxes? It's not a brother or sister or anything like that. A family of Apple boxes is actually what we call a traditional set of Apple boxes. A family consists of 4 Apple boxes, and each one is a different size. From largest to smallest, they are a full Apple box, a half Apple box, a quarter, and a pancake. Each of them has a different size, but they're all the same height and width. What separates them is their thickness. Each of them is 20 inches tall and 12 inches wide, but their thickness, that's actually what separates them. Now, a pancake is the thinnest. It's 1 inch thick. A half apple box is double, or excuse me, a quarter apple box is double the pancake, and that's 2 inches thick. The half apple is double the quarter, it's 4 inches thick, and you guessed it, a full apple box is double a half, and that's 8 inches thick. So let's do a little bit of math here. For a scene, our cinematographers just asked that the talent be raised exactly 7 inches from the frame. That's where it's going to be perfect. That's where everything's going to look great. They need to be exactly 7 inches higher. So what you would want to do is, if you're using the apple boxes in the Los Angeles position, which is the Y position, we'll get more into that later. You're going to want to use a half apple box, which is 4 inches, a quarter apple box, which is 2 inches, and then a pancake, which is 1 inch thick, to give you exactly 7 inches. You could use a full apple, but that's going to be 8 inches. That's going to be 1 inch too high. So the proper size would be using those 3 apple boxes to get you exactly 7 inches up. A quick way to differentiate apple boxes on set is actually the sides of the apple box. Each of them has a different handle drilled into them. And that's a quick way to differentiate them on set by just looking at them. A full apple box has 2 oblong handles cut into the side that you can grab there and kind of use the middle part to hold on to. A half apple box only has a single oblong hole that you can just put your fingers into and grab the apple box to kind of maneuver it. A quarter apple box has 2 circular holes drilled into it. This one you can't put your hand into, but you can put your index finger and like your thumb into to grab these apple boxes and move them around. And then the pancake actually doesn't have a hole drilled into it or like an oblong kind of circle like the other ones do. It actually has like a notch drilled into it, like a half circle kind of notch that you can put your fingers into and grab and kind of manipulate the pancake with. Okay, so earlier in the video, we mentioned the 3 positions of an apple box. They are, when you're standing an apple box up in its tallest position, that's called New York. When you have an apple box in its middle position where it's 12 inches up, that's called Chicago. I've heard some people call it Texas, but I know that's not really super common. I've always heard New York and Chicago. And then the final position, which is the lowest position, which is kind of the flat position, that's called Los Angeles. The way I personally remember these is New York has skyscrapers and all those tall buildings, so that's the tallest. Chicago's in the Midwest, so that's the middle positioning. And then LA is a big spread out city. It's all wide and flat. So the flattest position is Los Angeles. That's just my mental trick for remembering those, but that's how I do that. And that's basically it with apple boxes. You know your way around them now. You know all about them. So next time you're on set and someone needs to get up a little bit higher, you know what to do. If you find a grumpy grip who needs somewhere to sit, you know what to get in. Yeah, they're really handy. Great to have some in your set. We at Wild 7 Studios, we have 2 families of apple boxes. We'll probably add a couple more in the coming weeks and months before prices go up on those. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to have a lot of cool videos coming up soon. I'm going to make some videos on some of the lighting setup we use here. We are going to do some more videos on some vintage lenses. I'm probably going to get a couple of new sets of vintage lenses in the near future. And later this week, we're actually going to do a lens demo at one of the iconic lens manufacturers. They'd invited Wild 7 Studios to come in and demo some of their lenses, put some through their projectors. So we're going to make a video about that experience. Hopefully they'll let us film a little bit of behind the scenes stuff and we can share our experience with you guys demoing lenses at an actual lens manufacturer. So stay tuned, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.